Hello, 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 everybody. It's Friday. It is March 5th, 2021. And this is your HR moment. HR is in Human Resource Moment with Menifield and Associates. And my name is Angela Hooper-Menifield. In the event that you are new to our HR moments. So I want to welcome you guys and just talk a little bit about I need to fix my brand message. Give me 1 second. Well, hello, hello. Welcome to our HR moment with Menifield and Associates. Today, I want to talk a little bit about how we as supervisors can manage our teams. So, of course, these HR moments are geared for supervisors and to help us do a better job of managing our teams. And so, today I had a really great day. I actually did some work with an awesome nonprofit that I work with here in New Jersey. And it really got me thinking about like when there's this mixed view of value. And so often, whether a person is negotiating a salary, they are considering if they want to take another offer, we often hear people use phrases like they want to feel valued. Actually, it's something I say a lot as well. I often talk about the fact that I want people to feel valued. I want to create an atmosphere where people are valued. And so it just left me with the question of like, what does it really mean to feel valued? Who feels valued? Do we feel valued? And what does that look like? And so it was just a great reminder of the fact that what one person sees as value, another person may not. And so when you're managing other people, so often we don't stop to find out what's important to them. It's like this with any relationship, right? Because we want people to talk to us in our language, for lack of a better word, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, even in regular relationships, we talk about love languages and stuff like that. Well, how do your employees want to be valued? And so, you know, we've seen a lot of studies about things such as how millennials and Gen Z have a tendency to really want the opportunity to feel like they're making a valuable contribution, right? And so when you get really clear on what that looks like for people, so for some people, it's an office with a view. For others, it's a day off. For some, it's an award. For some, it's a pat on the back. But what I think is really missing from the piece is sometimes people are shocked to think that what they're doing for their team is what's resonating with them. And that's not the case. I also am reminded of the fact that perception really is reality. And so if I view something in the context of the fact that my supervisor didn't give me what I was valued, it could misrepresent what the truth really is. And so often what can happen too is people begin to feel as if their supervisor doesn't care about them. And so if by chance you have a team, and I think, you know, we could talk about this in so many contexts, right? So for instance, as even parents, we know the work, the effort we put into trying to provide for our team, well, not our team, our kids, our home. And sometimes the hard work that we do is not appreciated. And it feels, I think I'll use a term I heard somebody say recently, it feels crappy, right? Like who wants to be told that as hard as I'm working and as much as I'm doing, it's not enough? So that even lends us to the thinking of what are some of the reasons why people don't really tell their supervisors or the people that they're in these relationships with that this is not working for me. Like the method in which you celebrate or the method in which you give feedback or the method in which you incentivize mean nothing to me. Well, it's a couple of reasons. One, people get offended, right? Nobody wants to hear how they're doing something isn't working. Sometimes we see it, and I even have seen this in myself, like the person is so excited, like, oh my gosh, I have this great thing, we have this new awards program, and this is what it's going to do, yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking that means nothing to me. But I don't want to, bust their bubble. And so I don't say anything. And so these are how these patterns then grow with these relationships, because one person thinks they're doing something that's good and the other person is saying nothing to clarify, this means nothing to me. And so communication is really the best way to deal with this issue, right? It has to be open, it has to be candid, it has to be transparent. But people have to be able to say that the manner in which you support me is not doing it for me. And it could be through a ton of things. Earlier today, I was talking to a friend of mine who, like me, lost her father during the summer, and she and I connect and we talk, and she's really a beautiful person. And even in talking about how people give, sympathy or comfort, like even in their best day, they may think they're helping, but if that's not how I receive it, or that's not what helps me, then that's not really a good thing. And so for us as managers, supervisors, and even we have to think about how we comfort people on our teams who've been through some things. We have to think about the fact that people have to receive what they need. And as the people who are the receivers, we have to be transparent about what we need and want in a relationship. Now, I'm not playing naive. These are some of the most challenging conversations most of us will ever have, because we have to be vulnerable, we have to be transparent, and we also have the risk of being rejected, not heard, made fun of, mocked, right? There's a whole list of things that people can do when you tell them something very sensitive to you or important to you. And if they don't understand where you're coming from, they may not receive it well. So vulnerability and transparency is key, and it's also a risk. And the other part of this is we have to be just really clear with ourselves that even on our best day, we don't always get it right. Like, do we use the right words? And did the person who's receiving the message, are we able to give them what they ask for? What's the grace period? Do I get an opportunity to build up to that? Are you expecting me to just, turn it on like a switch? So the list goes on and on. But at the end of the day, when we manage teams, when we lead people in organizations, there's a couple of things that I think everybody has to be aware of, which is our decisions impact not only the people in the organization, it impacts everything that they touch as well. So it impacts their family, their connections, their organizations that they contribute to, as well as we have to be cognizant of the fact that when we provide services for others, everybody who utilizes our services are impacted. Leaders carry that as a burden and also a responsibility, which is why I always say leadership and managing people is not for the faint of heart. But in that awareness of that, the team has to remember that as well. So sometimes we won't understand why someone did what they did. There'll be times we won't understand why we gotta know. There'll be times when things will just seem crazy. And that goes back to the premise again of assigning noble intent. When we can trust that our leaders and managers, even when we don't get it, have our best interest at heart, it just immediately puts us in a place where we can at least give them the benefit of the doubt and prepare ourselves for the difficult conversation. Because sometimes we literally have to say, hey, I don't get this. Can you help me understand why we're doing this way? Sometimes we may be privy to that additional information, and then sometimes not. But when managing your team, I think it's important to sometimes have meetings and discussions about what it is they need from us. One of the questions I remember, I want to say it was John Maxwell, one of his books. More than likely it was, because I read a lot of John Maxwell books, needless to say. And he talked about, asking your team members, like, what kind of things keep you up at night? That is displaying and showing that we really care about what's keeping them up, what's bothering them. So again, the more we can talk to people, open communication, listen, and listen well, right? We put ourselves in a position to really hear what it is people are going through, what they're saying, and see how we can add value to them. So Again, today is Friday, March the 5th, 2021. This is your HR Moment with Menifield Associates. And I hope you guys have a great weekend, that you're staying safe. Today, I actually had an opportunity, like I said, to do an in-person training, which I don't do often. But whenever I get a chance to do it, I will tell you that it's good, it's fun, and it reminds me of how much I miss the energy of being in the room with people. And some of you may be feeling the same way too. So if you get an opportunity and you can do so safely, you know, see how you can bring your team together. Another thing to think about, and I heard someone say this today, and this really resonated with me. So a little off topic, but just something to throw out there. Of during this season of working at home, people being sick, isolation, how much it meant to see the faces of coworkers. So not the picture, the faces of coworkers, their smiles, their expressions, their reactions. And, you know, many of us have gotten really comfortable with attending virtual events and meetings and just putting our picture up or our name because we think it doesn't matter. You know, you're just listening anyway. And when that was said, it just really made my heart feel good because I try really hard to always turn my camera on, and I hadn't even thought about the fact that other people need to see me. Like, you know, because we don't know how people are living. We don't know what home feels like. We don't know how isolating it can be. And so if you can, when you're doing some of these Zoom meetings and events and all that, turn your camera on. Right? It's not just about, you know, I didn't do my hair today. I didn't put on makeup. I don't want to be bothered. I'm multitasking. No, be present and turn the camera on. You never know whose life is going to be positively impacted just because they had an opportunity to see your smile, a reaction, and just be around as best they can in a virtual setting people that they care about. So that's just a little extra bonus. Again, this is Angela. Feel free to follow us on our various social media platforms, the podcast, The Pulse of HR. An episode dropped this past week. Are your advances welcomed? So myself and my business partner or co-host, Robin K. Butler, talk a little bit about sexual harassment, which is in the news pretty big right now, right? It's a show we actually recorded before the latest things happened with Governor Cuomo, which is definitely in the news, but it was a great opportunity for us to just talk about some of the things we've dealt with. So again, Pulse of HR, go there, check it out, the latest episode. Are your advances welcome? This weekend, part 2, because some subjects are too good to leave to one episode. We go into a little bit more about what exactly is harassment, sexual, non-sexual, and what to do if there's an issue. But anyway, make sure you check out the Pulse of HR. Also, feel free to check out the Black Entrepreneurs Institute weekly show on Facebook. And, you know, let me hear from you. Let me know how I can add value and help. And again, take care, stay safe, love your team. And if you need some help, always feel free also to utilize our 30-day Supervisor's Journal. So take care, and I will see you next week. Bye.